Welcome to Traveling Adventures, your quest for love. This show is for singles searching for the perfect lifelong partner. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and let us go ahead and begin, shall we? Today's country is Cuba, the beautiful country of Cuba. We're going to be looking into whether or not Cubans might be a perfect fit for you as a potential partner, whether you're coming out of a bad relationship or if you're single and struggling to find somebody in particular. Let's go ahead and venture to see what makes Cubans good potential partners. We're going to be looking at the good, then we'll go shifting gears into the toxic. So without further ado, let's go ahead and begin the show with good Cuban women to start. We always start with the women first, in case you're new to the show. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at Cuban women first. Her resilience is a unique national pride. She can host a party during a blackout and make it legendary, finding defiant joy in the struggle itself. All right, so she's resilient. Her sexuality is a confident, rhythmic power. It is expressive and unshamed, woven into her dancing, her humor, and her view of intimacy as a vital celebration. Well, isn't that nice? Lots of sexy dancing behind closed doors for you men out there. She loves with the ferocity of a revolutionary guard. Her loyalty is a sacred, all-consuming commitment where your battles become her own. Yes, both of your guys' battles are your own. Absolutely, I agree with that. You guys got to be warriors. Face the world together, never separate. Her resourcefulness is pure magic. She will invent a gourmet meal from basic ingredients and turn a rusted balcony into a lush garden. Isn't that beautiful? Hey, responsibility. It's not just creativity we're talking about. It takes a really mature and responsible individual to care about these things. Many people, they're lazy. They're like, well, who cares about the balcony? Who cares about, just order fast food every... You know what I'm talking about. This is very beautiful to have a highly cultured person here. Very alegre, very happy, and proud. She communicates in a full body language. Her hands, her laugh, and her dancing eyes tell a complete, unfiltered story of her feelings. So lots of body language here. Absolutely. This is a first for the entire series. Very beautiful. They don't mention full body language here or body language in general. Yes, it's very sexy when a woman and a man, of course, but especially a woman knows how to express herself with that sexy body language. Not just dancing, by the way. In intimacy, she is generous and intensely present. She connects physical passion with deep emotion, viewing it as a profound form of communication and release. Wow, getting even more intimate. Intensely present. I really love that. Yeah, and it's not just the physical, it's emotional. That's how you guys become eventual soulmates, that level of soulmates. You feel that it's beyond just the physical. She is a master of the daily hustle, and her social web is her ultimate currency. She navigates it brilliantly, creating a vibrant world from scratch. Yeah, whether it be online or offline, resourceful. She's very communicative. This is a very brilliant trait here. To be vocal, not that silent weakling. She possesses a street smart fire that instantly detects falsehood. She values genuine character and survival instinct over empty wealth. Yeah, because money is not everything. That street smarts is going to go, hey, if you guys earn more, that's great. But without street smarts, without those survival skills, not going very far. Those values. There's a lot of spoiled rich people out there. They'll never get it. They live miserable lives, actually, with so much money. Not all of them, but a lot of them do. Her home is a fortress of flavor and loud music. Well, of course. I mean, it's in their blood. We're not just talking about The Latinos in general, yes, music, party, dancing, I get it. But each country has their own spin, and that's what makes the variety so beautiful. They have their own dances. They have their own way of celebrating. It's similar, but it's never the same. Similar to Puerto Rico, for example. They're not the same flags. They're like the inverse of each other, right? But they're kind of different, but they both have strong differences, when it comes to their culture. So the differences from a basic level, yeah, kind of, sort of, but when you look at their culture, it's extremely different. They share commonalities, but they each have their own unique aspects to their culture, and that influences their personality heavily as well, especially when you have mixes between American, Cuban. It adds a different dynamic spin to it. So now you're not fully Americanized. You remember your roots, and that's very beautiful. I have to say, I'm a big fan of people who are a blend of different cultures, because it just makes you even more unique. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing. But let's go ahead and continue with this one here. It operates on chaotic open door generosity, where you are immediately fed and folded into the family. Yes. Okay. So the loud music, hopefully your neighbors won't complain about that. I don't recommend playing loud music, but I get it. During parties and festivities, that's what we're talking about here, okay? She lives and loves with an intense, seize the moment spirit. Every emotion is expressed fully, making life vibrantly dramatic. Yes! What is life without emotion? You see, that's the positive drama that you should want, not the negative drama. All right, let's go ahead and shift gears to the Cuban men. What makes them so special? His charisma is a masterful, disarming performance of survival-honed wit. He can command a room or a street corner with pure magnetic energy. All right, very energetic start here. His masculinity is expressed through ingenuous capability and protective pride. He fixes old cars with scrap, this is very true, and will stand up for you without blinking. Yes, there's a lot of orgullo, a lot of pride. And not just with Cubans in particular, but all Latinos. But, this is the best case scenario. Keep in mind, this is not descriptions of just one woman or one man. We're talking about this is the best of the best. You should have even more than just this list of positive qualities. Okay, so continuing with the Cuban men here. He courts with poetic, overwhelming charm. He will be the subject of serenades and flirtations that feel both classic and thrillingly immediate. All right, so he's pretty passionate here. Very poetic. I like that. That's romantic. His sexuality is proud, physical, and expressive. He dances with you as a public and private conversation of desire. Okay. Viewing intimacy as a passionate birthright. Okay, so kind of a poetic explanation there when it comes to sexuality. That's fine. His dance is a core language. All right, so lots of dancing in case you haven't noticed. Cubans love to dance. The way he leads the dance floor reflects his values, respect, connection, rhythm, and confident joy. Absolutely. Life itself is a dance. You guys can't be stepping on each other's toes either. And you have to move in tandem with perfect synchronicity like a well-oiled machine. And that's what perfection is all about. Every single piece of the cogwheel. Don't be throwing monkey wrenches in there. But with immaturity and lack of responsibility, perfection means that you guys dance perfectly together every single day. Without fail, because you guys are a perfect team. His loyalty to his lifelong brothers is tribal. Gaining their approval means you are ratified into a brotherhood that offers fierce, tangible support. Yes, it's like a mafia. They'll call for backup if they need it, okay? It's a good thing. Doesn't mean they're going to get violent, but hey, if they have to, you need some backup. He is a genius of romantic improvisation, creating unforgettable dates from nothing. Yes, they love to improvise. He proves romance is about inventive effort, not a budget. Yes, that's what improvising is all about. When you think you have nothing, when you have love, you're the richest person in the world. I don't care what anybody says. When it comes to money versus love, no, money can't buy you love. It can buy temporary satisfaction perpetually, but you'll never get real satisfaction from that. You're just delaying the inevitable. You're kicking the can down the road until you hit a titanium wall, as I always say. He loves with loud, proud, demonstrative affection. He is physically expressive and will proudly claim you as his woman to the world. Yes, back to the orgullo, lots of pride. This is what you want in a partner on both sides. He is a fiercely patriotic ambassador of his country's defiant culture, sharing its music, contradictions, and spirit with infectious passion. Yes, yes, yes. He lives by the code of solving any problem. With him, any obstacle can be tackled, and any moment of joy is seized, amplified, and shared fully. Well, what a beautiful introduction for the Cuban men and women here. It's pretty beautiful. You know, this is pretty much it's excellent. You know, I'm not going to say it's the best one that we've seen in the entire series, but it's excellent. So there you go. Excellent rating. With that said, let's go ahead and shift gears to the inevitable, because that's what we always cover on this show, in case, especially if you're new to the show, the bad men and women of Cuba. That's right, because they can't all be princes and princesses that'll turn into kings and queens. Special disclaimer, ice cold disclaimer, the following does not apply to all Cuban men and women. You've been warned. So don't be immature and skip this part. This is a necessary disclaimer to avoid anybody being offended, because that's not how we roll on this channel. Our mission is to educate and to assist others. All right, so beginning with the toxic Cuban women, let's see what kind of red flags to avoid. Her matriarchal family is the true unchangeable government. Her mother and aunts hold supreme veto power over your life and will judge you perpetually. Okay, this is very common with toxic Latinas. Her temper is weaponized force. She wins arguments through sheer, overwhelming emotional force and a willingness to create public scenes. Yeah, that's pretty embarrassing. You know, when you guys got to talk about it privately, okay? Creating a scene is just disrespectful. It really is. Like, it just means you guys don't have a strong relationship as maybe you thought. Cheating risk. In a culture of solving problems by any means, she may seek a solution for emotional or material lacks. If she feels you are not providing stability or intense passion, she may pragmatically or emotionally seek it elsewhere, justifying it as a necessary hustle for happiness. Well, if you're in an abusive relationship, okay, I can condone that. But, problem solving is half the equation of relationships. It really is. Because if you guys don't trust each other to solve your problems, then sure, go ahead and try the grass is greener on the other side, but you're going to end up with a different set of problems. All right, genius? Her jealousy is rooted in a possessive, that's mine mentality. She views other women as active thieves and will create dramatic scorched earth confrontations to defend her claim. Okay, so jealousy, there's a toxic form and a healthy form. A healthy form is, no, I don't share. You're all mine. Okay, that's beautiful, right? This is the toxic form, where it becomes overly dramatic in a bad sense. There's no trust, right? I mean, nobody wants... This is going to that public embarrassment scenario that we talked about earlier. Her sexuality as weapon. She uses intimacy as a calibrated tool of punishment and reward. Yes, this is a reoccurring toxic theme on this series. Passion is strategically granted or coldly withheld to control the relationship's climate and ensure compliance with her unspoken rules. All right. Yes. So we've seen this before. She practices public shaming. Okay, we're back to the public shaming. She will air your private failures and faults in front of family to force you into submission and win any dispute. All right, that's extra embarrassing. So not only to the public in general, a bunch of strangers, but also to your families. Extra embarrassing, isn't it? I mean, personal business should be kept personal, okay? You can seek advice from friends and family, but you guys got to respect each other, okay? Don't be going out there speaking about the problems in your relationship openly without care. You guys got to protect that. Her survivalist hustle can make relationships feel transactional. A partner, especially a foreigner, may be subconsciously elevated as a vehicle for getting ahead. Okay. Well, I mean, survivalist hustle, that's kind of putting it lightly. Uh, yeah, no, that's just use and abuse territory. I don't like that. Yeah, that's pretty especially toxic right there. Her communication is a brutal, blazing truth. She will insult you with devastating frankness. Yeah, you see, there's a difference between sharing your thoughts and just straight up insulting your partner, okay? Believing that sparing your feelings is a dishonest weakness. No, it's called respect. RESPECT. Seriously, you can't have a healthy relationship without it. You want to be honest? Use tact. Have some consideration. Be mature. Doesn't matter what you think. You need to know how to communicate with love and respect. Otherwise, doesn't matter what you think is honest. Honesty takes the back seat out the window because you don't know how to communicate with love and respect. The concept of home has no privacy. Her family will enter unannounced. Well, that's not good, okay? Toxic families here. Comment on your finances and, oh yeah, all up in your business and treat your shared space of communal territory. We all know about the toxic family members trying to control your lives, okay? Her emotional world has no neutral gear. You cycle between seeing her glorious hero and her despised enemy based on the day's struggles with no calm middle ground. Alright, so not quite sure what they mean here. Emotional world has no neutral gear. Maybe she's just out of control here. I mean, it kind of defines it right here, the cycle between being her glorious hero. Yes, so they're talking about bipolar disorder, or not really disorder, but bipolar tendencies here. So where's the beautiful woman I fell in love with? Now you're just a total Tasmanian devil, right? One moment you're her hero, now you're her enemy. It's not a question of make up your mind. It's just, where's the respect and love? Where's the consistency? Because that's the only thing that's going to guarantee the longevity of the relationship forever, now and forever. Eternal love without time. Are you treating me with love and respect every single day? All right, so let's go ahead and shift gears to the toxic Cuban males here. We're talking about males who don't deserve to be called real men if it's extreme. Let's see how problematic it is. His charismatic, irreverent banter is a permanent shield. The charming performer is for everyone, making you wonder if the authentic quiet man exists. Well, I know we're talking about opposite of being charismatic, but it's, banter, it depends. There's good banter and there's bad banter. It's just a question of how well you understand each other, what's acceptable and what's not. You guys have to have your own rules together. That's as much as I can say about that introduction there. Cheating risk. There is a pervasive cultural narrative that man is fire. Oh, great. Here we go with the lousy excuses. I'm a man. I need to cheat, right? Infidelity is often framed not as betrayal, but as the natural, inevitable. We've seen this so many times with the Latino communities. The toxic ones. Overflow of a passionate masculine spirit that a woman is expected to understand and tolerate. No, she's not. No. This is the last thing I'm going to say about this, I swear. We've seen this so many recurring theme on this show. Your woman should feel like 100 women in one. And she should be capable of doing that. Okay? Same thing for the guy. Like a whole army, 100 men in one. That's the idea. If you don't feel that way with your partner, then something's lacking. Fix it. Develop it. change for the better. If you're one of those stubborn losers who says, nobody's going to change me, well, you're not going to make it. You need to change yourself for the better. That's as much as I'll say about that. Because wanting to cheat on your partner, even just the very thought, means that you're failing in your relationship, and so is she. Or maybe it's just one of you who's ungrateful because, let's say the sex is amazing, and you're the ungrateful one, but you just want more. You want 31 flavors. Well, then you're the only toxic one in that case. If your woman's giving it all to you, and there's no reason whatsoever to cheat or even think about cheating on her because you're so happy with her, you would never even think about cheating. So if you're thinking about cheating, that means you're not happy with her, you're not happy with yourself, you're not happy with the relationship. It's that easy. It spells failure all across the board. Got it? So there's nothing to tolerate. There's everything to fix about a dying situation. His masculine pride is a brittle performance of invulnerability. Any challenge to his authority, of course he's in charge, right, is a deep cultural insult that can trigger irrational aggression or a shame spiral. All right, look, it's 50-50, okay? Easier. It's just both of you are in charge. There is no authority of, no. One or the other does not control the entire relationship. It's a partnership, for crying out loud. He is a king of the street, but expects to be the king of the couch at home. I mean, if it's your couch, what can I say? As long as you're not offending your wife, right? Domestic labor and mental load are exclusively a woman's job. Well, no, they're not. Get off the couch and go help your woman. Everybody should know this. His loyalty to his crew is an unbreakable higher law. No, it isn't. He will lie to you to cover for them. Sacrifice your plans for theirs. All right, so who are you married to? Your friends or your wife? And value their bad advice over your needs. All right, that's despicable. He is a visionary or fictional futures. He will talk endlessly of the restaurant or the house you'll build with zero practical steps, leaving you waiting over on a dream. Yes, okay, don't make promises you can't keep. Always try, but that's when you're forgiven in this case. We've seen this also as a reoccurring theme in the Latino communities. His jealousy manifests as a controlling surveillance. He may police your clothing, friendships, and time, isolating you under the guise of protection. Okay, well, this is controlling behavior. Look, like I said before, your friends are not your partner. Okay, so if you're spending way too much time with them, that's a no-go because you're purposefully neglecting your partner, your relationship, and they're going to wonder why it's falling apart. It's okay to spend time with friends, but bring your partner with you as whenever you can. Think logically here, right? Don't leave them alone for so long. Free time is everything in this life. Spend it wisely. So don't go wasting it always with your friends, or your relationship is golden. There's always ways to make all this work between partitioning your time with family, friends, colleagues maybe. But your partner has to take precedence. Number one priority. All right, we're talking business class here. First class, because otherwise you don't really love your partner. You're still goofing around with hanging out with friends, not maturing, but they're my friends. Yeah, but you're taken. Doesn't mean you don't have time for your friends, but your priorities are all mixed up. You gotta change. You gotta take your relationship seriously, okay? His solve-it mentality is financially reckless for personal pride. He will spend the utility money on rum. All right, so we got an alcoholic here. To host friends, viewing your concern as a lack of joy. Well, that's not a solve-it mentality, right? I mean, financially reckless. Another reoccurring toxic theme in this series. He often has a hidden parallel family, a prior wife or children from a past union. Okay, this is a possibility. Discovering this separate binding obligation years in is a common trauma. Okay, but if you don't talk about it, that's clearly a no-go, okay? Look, you don't have to disclose everything about your past, but if you had previous partners, and it was significant in a relationship, right? And you had kids especially. You need to disclose that to your partner, okay? There's no such thing as, well, I have secrets. Well, it's going to be an unhealthy relationship. Everything has to be on the table eventually. Whether or not you're prepared to disclose certain things that could affect the relationship, well, we got to talk about prioritization, right? If there's something that could really affect the relationship, a woman shows up out of nowhere, you know that it's your ex-wife or your ex or whatever, and now your wife is wondering, well, who's she? You never told me about her. See, that's just disrespectful. You have to talk about, like it or not, I don't care. You have to talk about your previous relationships. You don't have to tell them every single little detail, but you have to at least make them aware that there were prior partners that could appear in your life. Again, maybe you don't want them to, but they could, right? I mean, come on, people. You can't have one foot in the door and the other foot out the door. Disclose everything. Don't keep secrets from your partner. I mean, if we're on that level where you're falling in love with your partner, there's no reason for silly little secrets. Be mature, be open. So what if she knows about a previous partner or two or whatever? This is crucial information in many cases. I can't stand when people say, well, I have to have some secrets, otherwise what? Transparency is everything in a relationship. You don't have to tell your darkest secrets, but eventually, couples who are completely in love, they do share their darkest secrets, but maybe it's not the time now because it's irrelevant. But these type of little details, very important. I have to stress that because we don't really talk about that much on this show. Really don't. I mean, you're talking about like a hidden children that you never or an ex-wife. What are we talking about here? That's horrible. His passionate sexuality can decay into selfish release. The attentive lover becomes a utilitarian figure, expecting physical satisfaction without the emotional or romantic effort of courtship. Yeah, this is unacceptable behavior, okay? Because what happened to all the dancing and romance? So these are all the toxic traits of toxic Cuban women and Cuban men. Don't really deserve to be called real men and women, but for the purpose of identification, toxic females, toxic males. We'll just leave it at that. These are all the red flags to avoid, but trust me, there's even more. These are just the most common red flags. But as with positive traits and negative traits, the list goes beyond what you see here. Sort of a top 10. So with that said, it's time to enter the final verdict. Would I recommend Cuba? Yes, I do recommend Cuba. There's plenty of good qualifications there for a potential loving partner with the good traits that we've seen. I do recommend Cubans in general, or to go visit Cuba. It's really refreshing when you see good positive qualities. All the negative traits that we've seen there, the toxic red flags, those are very common in the Latino speaking countries, with Latinos in general. Unfortunately, there's always going to be that toxic machismo, and then the women that have toxic femininity as well, they both have it. It's usually in just stereotypical forms at this point. And as you've seen on this reoccurring theme with this show. So with that said, yes, I highly recommend Cuba for the good Cubans who have a lot of heart, a lot of passion. Highly recommend it. With that said, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Also be sure to sign up for your free membership on my website down below. Best of luck on your quest for love. Much love, everybody.